This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Welcome to Farm Year Daily, a Field Forward podcast. I'm your host, David Geiger. Today on Farm Year Daily, the Iowa State Fair is almost here, and I got a chance to taste test some new fair foods. I took that opportunity to speak to Iowa pork producers and the CEO of the fair about how it's a time to bridge the urban-rural gap. Please be sure to like and follow the podcast as well as our social media at Field Forward Pod. We would love to have you join our community, keeping folks informed about what is affecting our farmers. This is Farm Year Daily. And joining me on Farm Year Daily, we have Jeremy Parsons, CEO of the Iowa State Fair. And Jeremy, we are hanging out at the tasting competition for the top 11 new foods for the Iowa State Fair. That was just a delightful time to eat and enjoy, and I am stuffed. I'm glad I didn't snack beforehand.
Yeah, it's a full afternoon for those of you that were judging that event. But again, fairgoers tell us the number one reason why they attend the Iowa State Fair is food, which I guess you could argue is an offshoot, obviously, of agriculture. Obviously, that's where your food comes from. But food is the number one reason why people attend the fair. And so every year, a huge buzz and build up over the new foods that are at the fair.
I made the unfortunate decision to try to eat most of what I got because I'm just naturally trying not to throw away food. But I had to give up at some point and just take a couple of bites.
We provided some to-go containers, which are always important. But when you look at really the new foods, I think is just an offshoot of what we do at the Iowa State Fair in terms of we're a celebration of creativity, a celebration of excellence. And so when you look at our food concessionaires, the creative new concepts they come up with year after year, 67 roughly new foods at this year's fair. We had a screening committee narrow that down to the top 11, which you all tasted today. And then, of course, those top 11 then were narrowed down to the 3 finalists that you as a fairgoer, then you'll get to choose which of those 3 ultimately is the very best.
I think that's an interesting talking point because how do you get involved on that 67 tasting test? This is the first time I've tried the 11 foods, but now I kind of want to get to that 67 level.
Well, it's a little different process as we go through, obviously narrowing that list down, but every year just really almost overwhelmed with the creativity that our concessionaires have as they come up with something brand new each and every year.
You said something early on that I wanted to touch on about, I talk food because I talk farm, and that's where food comes from. The Iowa State Fair is really a great opportunity to breach that urban-rural divide and show what's going out there on the farm and where the food comes from. What do you think of that idea, and is that a way to promote the Iowa State Fair?
100%. It's why we exist. I mean, at its cornerstone, the Iowa State Fair is about agriculture. Now, what has occurred over time when you think about the Iowa State Fair in the 1850s when it first got started up and through into the early 20th century, it truly was a celebration for the farmer, right? It's a place for them to bring the very best, whether it's crops, whether it's fruits, vegetables, obviously livestock. It's a place for them to celebrate the very best. But obviously our society has changed. So more than ever now, we are still a showcase for agriculture, but we're more about educating people about agriculture. And so, and I think anyone who has followed the Iowa State Fair is familiar with that. When you look at all the things the Iowa State Fair does now, the Animal Learning Center, Little Hands on the Farm, programs that weren't here 30 years ago, but as Iowa continues to evolve away from the farm in some sense, we have to continually remind them of our agricultural roots, because everybody's connected to agriculture. If you eat, you're connected to agriculture.
Yeah, it's more than just the food you eat. It's the way it's packaged, it's how it's transported, it's global economies, it's local economies, it's rural America, all agriculture, and that kind of then comes to the fair.
It does. The fair is the place for that person who is not familiar at all with agriculture. We hope they come to the fair, have an enjoyable time, but while they're here, they learn something as well. And what we're trying to teach them is exactly what you just talked about. It's about rural way of life. It's about how animals are born. It's watching the process of a plant growing. It's learning about where your food comes from, and that's really why we want to exist.
Are there some suggested places you go if there are some urban folk that are interested in learning a little bit more about the farm? I know there's a couple places they can find out.
I think Animal Learning Center is a great place to start. Obviously, baby animals being born there every day, but yeah, it's way more than that. It's a chance to actually sit down with producers. We started a program a couple years ago with basically trading cards. Think of what you do for professional athletes, trading cards for farmers, and you can get those signed, for example, and just other educational opportunities throughout that building. But then it goes beyond that as well. A couple years ago, we introduced the kitchen, which is cooking demonstrations all day long. Again, a chance for you to maybe learn from some of our commodity groups the very best way to produce their item as well. So there's something for everybody here at the fair. If you're interested in learning about agriculture, I guarantee you'll find something at the fair that you'll leave here learning something new.
Now, another big deal that's happening with the fair this year is the announcement before the 250th birthday of the United States, and that is the Great American State Fair. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. The Great American State Fair concept was first promoted by then candidate Trump in 2023, and really the Great American State Fair will be an event in Washington, D.C. Next around July 4th, a celebration of our entire country. But what has come out of that is the fact that really an initiative really pushed by Secretary Rollins and the USDA and President Trump in the White House, where America's state fairs are all the Great American State Fair, and that really programming is going to be held at several state fairs, including the Iowa State Fair, both this year and next year as we celebrate America's 250th birthday.
Can we dig in a little bit about that? Because that means the fair is really going to be on an even bigger screen for America, and that allows folks to see rural America potentially at its most demonstrative.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When the proclamation came out really declaring state fairs, Iowa State Fair being one of those, obviously kind of these patriotic epicenters of the America 250 celebration, that's a tremendous spotlight not only on state fairs but on exactly what you've talked about. What a great place to bring people together to not only celebrate our country's 250th birthday but tell them the story of agriculture, teach them where their food comes from. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for sure.
What are some of the things you're excited for then? Just a few weeks away, the fair is almost here. What are you excited about?
Really for us, I think all the barometers are pointing to a great fair. We always look at some key indicators here. Competitive entries are on par or slightly up. We're excited about a 3% increase in FFA participation at this year's Iowa State Fair, which is huge for us. Seeing all of our capital improvements come together. Obviously, we're in the midst of a $40 million renovation of our livestock barns. To see that process continue to move forward. And really just to see Iowans come out here and have a good time. We know for many people the Iowa State Fair is a highlight of the year. It's a vacation. It's a family reunion, and we want to live up to all those standards.
I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely want to highlight the next generation as a huge aspect of not only the fair but farming as well. You have the FFA and also 4-H all participating here. What are they up to, and how can folks see a bit more from them?
Yeah, as I mentioned, those FFA numbers are up, 4-H numbers are online. it speaks to the strength of both of those youth programs and obviously all the development work that they do. But, when you come to the Iowa State Fair every day, the opportunity to see 4-H and FFA youth at their very best, whether that's in the livestock show ring or that's in the 4-H building, for example, watching educational presentations or it's FFA demonstrations, always something for people to learn. Always something for people to learn, but also just the opportunity to see these kids become future leaders right in front of your eyes.
Jeremy Parsons is the CEO of the Iowa State Fair. Thank you so much for talking to me and talking about agriculture and the rural-urban gap and bridging that here on Farm Your Daily.
Hey, that's what we do here at the fair. It's August 7th through the 17th. Be here.
This is Farm Your Daily. We'll have another conversation in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at the marketplace.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There was a mixed trade going on at the close for Tuesday. September corn a penny and a quarter stronger at $4.01 and a quarter. December rising a penny and 3/4 at $4.19 and 3/4. August soybeans 6 cents lower at $9.95, with September down 6 cents at $9.87 and a quarter. Soybean meal in August, $2.40 a ton in the red at $265.30. Wheat in September, 3.5 cents down at $5.38, with December 3.5 cents lower as well, $5.58 and 3/4. In the livestock market close for Tuesday, there was some green in cattle. August lives up $3.05 a hundredweight, $222.40. October, $2.50 stronger at $219.27. Feeder cattle in August, $2.80 a hundredweight more at $322.27, with September also up $2.80 at $322.37. Lean hogs in August, 70 cents a hundredweight in the green at $103.92, with October down 20 cents at $87.47. That is the Tuesday market close. This is Farm Here Daily.
How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast Gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast Gems.
And joining us on Farm Here Daily, we have Kelsey Sutter with the Iowa Pork Producers Association. And Kelsey, we have just enjoyed some of the showings of the newest fair foods for the Iowa State Fair. And we tried 11 different types here, voted on them. Iowa Pork Producers also have a slot here, the Hawaiian Hog. Can you tell me a little bit about the Hawaiian Hog?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Pork Producers Committee that runs the pork tent wanted to find a new way to highlight and feature pork loin. It's so versatile. You can do so much with it. And we are grilling whole boneless pork loins at the pork tent, shaving them thin, and serving them on a bun with creamy coleslaw, brown sugar, pineapple, and a sweet chili glaze.
I think the mouthful as a whole is really great when you get that pineapple in. My first bite didn't have pineapple, and then when I took a bite with pineapple, it was like night and day.
It made a big difference. Yeah, so it's a great combination of creamy, crunchy, cool, and the juicy pork loin. And when you put it all together, it really is a delicious but messy sandwich, so get extra napkins.
It was a little messy, but it was very tasty. When you're looking at the Iowa State Fair, this is really a great opportunity to show off the work farmers and agriculture producers do at the fair in a place where folks from urban areas can see it a little bit better. How is this a way to kind of show that off, as you said, make it a little bit more versatile?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always the goal with anything we serve at the pork tent is we want to showcase pork and how versatile it is, how delicious it is, how consumer friendly it is. And also we need it to be simple because we have 900 volunteers of people that work in the pork industry every day that come and work the pork tent at the fair. So they're not food service professionals. These are pork producers that are growing the product that we all enjoy every day. And so we want it to be simple. We want it to be delicious and versatile. And if you want to meet an Iowa pig farmer, come by the pork tent.
I think obviously we have to talk about the big deal at the pork tent, which is the pork chop on a stick. That's what everyone is excited about every year. Are you guys all prepared for that? It's only a few weeks away until the fair.
It's only a few weeks away, but yes, we are prepared to serve around 50,000 pork chops on a stick at the Iowa State Fair again this year.
Say that again, one more time.
We serve around 50,000 pork chops on a stick in 11 days at the Iowa State Fair.
50,000. That's a lot of pork chops there, and it's Iowa pork farmers that are able to make something like that happen.
Yeah, and it actually is raised by an Iowa pig farmer in Washington County. That's where we get our chops for the Iowa State Fair. We're happy to support those farmers and obviously showcase a great product.
You know, if we're going to connect, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You might not know this number off the top of your head, but do we know how many pigs that is to make the 50,000 pork chops for folks? Obviously, there's plenty of other meat chops and sides that go along that are probably sold elsewhere, but for the chops, you know how many hogs that comes from?
I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely in the thousands. And yeah, whenever we have the conversation of finding the right supplier, it's the right person that can do what all the products that are left from the hog is quite a bit, and if they can find a market for what's left after we get the pork chop on a stick out. But yeah, it's several thousand pigs.
That's amazing. And I think I'd like to just leave it on a note of why is it important that folks see how their food is made and where their food comes from?
I think that you feel a lot more comfortable when you can connect with where the food comes from, and the Iowa State Fair is a great place to do that. A fair's roots are showcasing the local agriculture in the state. I mean, that's how fairs were created, and so the Iowa pork producers think it's really important for us to be involved at the Iowa State Fair. We're the #1 state in pork production, and we're very proud of that. And this state fair is a great way to connect with any producer in the state of Iowa.
And we're going to be seeing that here soon. The Iowa State Fair, like we said, only a little bit away. Everyone knows where the pork tent is, right? Or there's been some changes over there.
Well, we are very excited about our new building that we opened up. This will be year 3 operating in our new building, and it is east on Grand Avenue. So if you're on the main Grand Avenue street at the Iowa State Fair, head east. You will not miss us. We have a beautiful new facility, and we'd love for you to come check it out.
Kelsey Sutter with the Iowa Pork Producers Association, thank you so much for joining me on Farm Your Daily.
Yes, thanks for having me. We'll see you at the fair.
This is Farm Your Daily, a Field Forward podcast. Thank you so much for listening. By the way, I took a bunch of pictures at the fair event. I'm going to post that on social media, so check that out at Field Forward Pod. You can also find me on social media at Geiger Reports, as well as WHO TV Channel 13 every weekday in their morning and noon hour programs. Again, I am your host, David Geiger, and I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody.